Hi, everybody, and you're very welcome back after our summer break to episode 7, series 5 of our Keep It Simple series all about property. Now, at the last episode we spoke about how the new legislation is going to affect the smaller landlord. Now, I just want to talk briefly today a little bit more in depth about how the changes are going to affect the larger landlord. So basically, under the Residential Amendment 2025 Act, a larger landlord defined as having 4 or more residential rental properties. The changes are as follows. Number one, you've got the ban on the no-fault eviction. So after the 1st of March 2026, a landlord would not be able to issue a no-fault eviction for any tenancy that starts after that date. And then a landlord can terminate, just bear in mind, a landlord can terminate the lease if the tenant breaches the lease, for example, for antisocial behaviour, or if the property is unsafe, uninhabitable. So, but a landlord, if he or she wants to terminate these, and it's his or her intention to sell, renovate, move a family member back in, or for personal hardship, then they will not be able to. They will not be able to move a tenant on for these reasons. Those last two apply to the smaller landlord only, but the bigger landlord has more onerous restrictions. And then the second point, and this is these 2 points, the rolling 6-year tenancy. So 6-year tenancy term will be introduced for new tenants from the 1st of March 2026 onwards. And then after the 1st of March, this is, I remember doing a LinkedIn post and saying that, look, for landlords, the larger landlords, they'll be able to go into full market rent after the 1st of March 2026. But the larger landlord can only increase rent to market levels under 2 specific conditions after March 26th, 1st of March. The first is starting a new tenancy, provided the previous tenant left voluntarily or was in breach of their lease, for example, rent arrears or, unsavory behaviour, antisocial behaviour. And say, for instance, the last tenancy, the landlord ended the tenancy due to selling the property or moving a family member back in, then you cannot go in at full market rent. Just remember that. It's only if a new tenancy starts where the previous tenant left voluntarily was in breach of their obligations. And then secondly, obviously then the landlord can reset the rent at the end of the 6-year period, but only if the tenancy is continuing and not ended through a no-fault eviction. Again, they're just 2 really important points, and I've been asked several questions about this. Otherwise, the rent remains at the 2%, as we know. And then we have for new build exemptions, the larger landlords who invest in new build apartments with a planning commencement notice dated after the 10th of June 2025, they are exempt from the 2% RPZ cap, and they may increase the rent in line with CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Now, just remember, it's really important that the RTB will actively monitor compliance with these rent caps or registration, like the termination notices. So it's really, really important to have all your procedures, your documents, everything in place. Because there'll be quite heavy, really, really heavy fines. So just bear that in mind. So remember, this is the advice this is what I'm gleaning from the current, where the legislation is at the moment, but it's not in March, after the 1st of March 2026. I don't know if that's going to change, but anyway, as I say, I was asked so many questions about the larger landlord. I just wanted to go through it in a little bit more detail. Thanks for listening.